It's tempting to think of marriage as old-fashioned. Why not just live with someone and be done with it? What need for a public ceremony? Why the weird traditions, all those churches, temples, hymns, vows and prayers? Marriage must be a silly relic from the religious childhood of humankind, not designed for the more logical modern world. And yet, it survives. The essence of marriage is to tie our hands, to frustrate our wills, to put high and costly obstacles in the way of splitting up. Why do we do this? Originally, we told ourselves that God wanted us to stay married, but even now, when God is not invoked, we keep making sure that marriage is rather hard to undo. For one thing, you carefully invite everyone you know to watch you say you'll stick together. You willingly create a huge layer of embarrassment were you ever to turn around and admit it might have been a mistake. Furthermore, even though you could keep things separate, marriage tends to mean deep economic and legal entanglements. You know it's going to take the work of a phalanx of accountants and lawyers to prise you apart. It could be done, but it will be ruinous. It's as if we somewhere recognize that there might, rather strangely, be some quite good, though uncomfortable reasons why making it difficult to split up a union can be an advantage for its members. The marshmallow test was a celebrated experiment in the history of psychology, designed to measure children's ability to delay gratification and track the consequences of being able to think long-term. Some 3-year-old children were offered a marshmallow, but told they would get 2 if they held off from eating the first one for 5 minutes. It turned out a lot of children just couldn't make it through this period. It was too tempting. The less immediate benefit of gobbling the marshmallow in front of them was stronger than the strategy of waiting. Crucially, it was observed that these children went on to have lives blighted by a lack of impulse control, and fared much worse than the children who were best at subordinating immediate fun for long-term benefit. Relationships are perhaps no different. Here too, many things feel very urgent. We're angry and want to get out. We're excited by a new person and need to abandon our present partner at once. And yet, as we look around for the exit, every way seems blocked. It would cost a fortune. It would be embarrassing. It would take an age. This isn't a coincidence. Marriage is a giant inhibitor of impulse, set up by our conscience to keep our libidinous, ungrateful, wild, desiring selves in check. What we're essentially buying into by submitting to its dictates is the insight that we are, as individuals, likely to make very poor choices under the sway of strong short-term impulses. To marry is to recognize that we require structure to insulate us from our urges. It's to lock ourselves up willingly because we don't trust ourselves. It's a very unusual marriage indeed, in which the two people don't spend a notable amount of time fantasizing that they weren't in fact married. But the point of marriage consent is to make these fornication not matter very much.
Under consent of the king, or under consent of the governor or the president to have sex. Then fuck sex. I just buy prostitution. Hell you talking about?
At their best,
all this shit sound like prison. Man just told you.
And become whole. We often get drawn to people precisely because they promise to edge us in the right direction. But it's too easy to seem kind and normal when we keep going out with someone new. The truth about us, on the basis of which self-improvement begins, only becomes clear over time.
He ain't even trying to indulge.
When we don't keep running away to people who will falsely reassure us there's nothing too wrong with us.
What kind of shit is that?
Over time, the argument for marriage has shifted. It's no longer about external forces having power over insulate us from our urges. It's to
insulate us from our urges.
What we're essentially buying.
The fuck I need to be insulated from for something. Motherfuckers, fuck these white, I ain't gonna say the white folks, I know it ain't y'all fault, they trying to take y'all ass out too, and then so they gonna give you a job taking us out. So I ain't gonna say y'all just as guilty, but y'all damn sure got, you know, y'all, fuck it, you still a suicide culture. So I mean, so you the vulture, they paying you to spread the misery, and y'all ain't complaining, so fuck it, man. You know, what the fuck you talking about? I need somebody to tell me who I'm supposed to marry, when I'm supposed to have sex, and then pay you a motherfucking taxes if I do get married or have sex. Man, kiss my ass, whoever the fuck you is. I can't say it's white, black, blue, Chinese, green, or whatever. because you know all this shit is demonic. It ain't a color on it no more, because they got motherfuckers with black skin that's just as evil, demonic, and all that, and think they're fucking purple, green, white, and orange too. So I can't call that who the fuck it is, because it could be anybody. You know, just like in Africa, they got the motherfuckers from Britain that already put puppets, installed puppets in all them countries, and they black, and then they exploiting the people, you know, and they own people, and they using money to brainwash this person to do it to their people. So, or the threat of violence. Okay, if you don't do it, we kill your ass and make somebody else do it. So they ain't got no choice. They're gonna take them out anyway, right? So everywhere you go, they got a puppet lying to the people. So it ain't a color thing, because they lying to everybody. Everybody miserable. Everybody got to lie to each other. Everybody is a pirate. Everybody trying to take advantage of each other. So my point of it is like, maybe nobody can't change that part, but what about some of these laws and shit? You know, like this marriage law. What the fuck you mean? Who the fuck said, okay, you motherfuckers, I'm already a slave. Now you gonna tell me, oh, you know, you can't do this. Why? Because the book we wrote said do this. We done turned all these motherfuckers into zombies, and they agreeing with us. And if you disagree with us, we gonna arrest your ass, put you in a mental institution, and call you crazy. See, so fuck you, fuck your book, fuck all these motherfucking zombies that got brainwashed, fuck this whole motherfucking Twilight Zone.
Into by submitting to its dictates is the insight that we are, as individuals, likely to make very poor choices under the sway of strong short-term impulses. To marry is to recognize that we require structure to insulate us from our urges. It's to lock ourselves up willingly because we don't trust ourselves. It's a very unusual marriage indeed, in which the two people don't spend a notable amount of time fantasizing that they weren't in fact married. But the point of marriage is to make these feelings not matter very much. It's an arrangement.
If everything is full of shit, the fake ass book that they gave me, they fake God they try to give me, that motherfucker, the white man on a cross, hippie on a cross, all this old fake shit, all this cartoon, Fairy Island, Fantasy Island book, Brady Bunch ass, Huxtable's ass shit, it's all fake. Then nigga, what you talking about? I ain't gonna go no motherfucker where. But I tell you one motherfucking thing, I know how to buy some sex. I ain't gonna be out there trying to fucking marry no sex. There's a difference between rent some sex, and fucking trying to, own that shit, whatever the fuck I just said. That's a difference. Fuck no.
That protects us from what we desire, and yet know in our more
you know, I go buy some sex, and now the sex own me. Tell the sex to kiss my ass.
reasonable moments we don't truly need or even perhaps want. At their best, relationships involve us in
and I ain't mad at the sex, and I ain't mad at the person who got it. I ain't mad at myself. I told you, it ain't my fault, it's the system. Everybody want to blame each other instead of blaming the system, and they know it's the system's fault. And especially them zombies who agree with the system because they getting paid to exploit people for the system. All them vampires that's drinking everybody's blood, hell yeah, they ain't gonna complain, and they gonna keep their mouth closed. I mean, they gonna act like they don't hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So I ain't talking to them zombies. I'm talking to the people who the ones that's getting bitten by the vampire.
In attempts to develop, mature, and become whole, we often get drawn to people precisely because they promise to edge us in the right directions. But it's too easy to seem kind and normal when we keep going out with someone new. The truth about us, on the basis of which self-improvement begins, only becomes clear over time. Chances of development increase hugely when we don't keep running away to people who will falsely reassure us there's nothing too wrong with us. Over time, the argument for marriage has shifted. It's no longer about external forces having power over us. What we are correctly now focused on is the psychological point of making it hard to throw it all in. For the last 50 years, the burden of intelligent effort has been on attempting to make separation easier. The challenge now lies in another direction, in trying to remind ourselves why immediate flight doesn't always make sense, in trying to see the point of holding out for the second marshmallow.
For fair use and educational purposes. The Soul Gang. Of Karma's Kitchen. Another day, another dollar in your pocket. Another safari. We're on another safari. What's in the oven? In this clip, fair use and educational purposes, this clip is about marriage and, you know, the pros and cons of it and why it's right and why it's wrong. But in this clip, they didn't try to normalize it and say that no matter what you go through, it's like in the Bible they say God won't put nothing on you too hard you can't survive. You know what I mean? No suffering on you. Well, they telling you marriage and all that is a part of suffering, so get ready for it. It's normal and all that shit. Now, if you believe that, then that's on you. But I mean, ain't nothing perfect. That's right. Ain't no such thing as a painless life. That's right. But not no fucking not this type of shit they talking about doing. They ain't talking about no like regular suffering. They talking about they gonna take control of your life secretly and use their laws and shit to really secretly control the marriage and control your finances and then rip everybody off and put everybody to each other's throats and then kill two birds with one stone. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't got no problem with marriage, but the way they got this shit set up is so motherfucking evil and criminal until it's gonna have each other at each other's throats and shit. Because one person might have did too much and another person might not know what the fuck they doing, and then it just totally like, and then the system set it all up to be that way, and then the other people take the fall and the system just roll off right off in the sunset without no blood on their hands and all your money in their pocket. So if you're ready to settle down, this is an example.
Settle down used to be when you had a bit of spare money and a decent job. Then, when things became more romantic, it became all about
when you had a little money and a spare job.
But both these criteria are now heavily outdated.
Yeah, that's
these
outdated how, nigga? Because it ain't
to signal you're ready to settle down.
What do you mean they outdated, nigga? All these immigrants in here and ain't no jobs and it's a pandemic, a damn demic, and your punk ass talking about marriage is outdated. No, it ain't. It's extinct, motherfucker.
And have a chance of a successful long-term relationship. The moment to settle down is when you finally realize your partner is imperfect. They have 100 different flaws. They're maddening in all sorts of ways and are riddled with psychological neuroses that make them very hard to deal with.
Might as well.
However, there's an important additional realization. Everyone is in fact like this. Once you get below the charming outer surface, no one else would be better. We're a fundamentally flawed species. There's an important additional realization. Make them very hard to deal with. They're maddening in all sorts of ways and are riddled with psychological neuroses that make them very hard to deal with. However, there's an important additional realization. Everyone is in fact like this. Once you get below the charming outer surface, no one else would be better. We're a fundamentally flawed species. There's no such thing as a right person. Everyone is wrong in fascinating and enragingly diverse ways. We think love is about being understood for all the secret, vulnerable parts of us that others don't grasp. But however much the other seems to understand us, there will always be huge tracts of our psyches that remain utterly incomprehensible to others. No one properly understands and can therefore fully sympathize with.
That punk ass look that they just showed on on this video, that didn't look like no fucking love to me. That looked like some fucking, they looked at each other like in a sexual way. I didn't see no love like nothing. The love, motherfucker, if it was love, they would have been, nigga, it would have been saying something about love or said, or gave each other a hug or something. The fuck, that way they looked at each other, it's like, is it time yet? Are you ready? That's the look that I seen.
Anyone else. For a long time, it's easy to pretend one's normal, even quite easygoing. But it's time to settle down when you're mature enough to have an active sense of what a life is.
Yeah, I'm ready for love. All this other motherfucker Halloween costume, hocus pocus ass, heebie-jeebie ass shit. Fuck no. Keep the voodoo and send that motherfucker witchcraft back.
You're
Give it back
out of control
to the TV set.
for regular periods. You lose
Dr.
perspective.
Seuss and the
You're
fairy
anxious
tale.
all the time. You're mature when you can be deeply embarrassed about who you are and are prepared to apologize for the fact on a regular basis. Confusingly, we speak of love as and are prepared to apologize for the fact on a regular basis. Confusingly, it's time to settle down when you're mature enough to have an active sense of what a liability you are. You're out of control for regular periods. You lose perspective. You're anxious all the time. You're mature when you can be deeply embarrassed about who you are and are prepared to apologize for the fact on a regular basis. Confusingly, we speak of love as one thing when it's in fact two: being loved and loving. We should settle down when we're finally ready to stop always wanting to be loved and pick up the ropes of that far less familiar actually loving someone.
What you mean, I'm gonna pick up the ropes? He sound like some disabling shit. He sound like some Igor, yes master. Fuck you and yes master. Everybody better carry their own motherfucking weight. And I ain't talking about no financial shit. I'm talking about everybody gotta deal with, everybody gotta listen to each other. Everybody gotta be like, and then have a common ground where they can go and get some advice from. So I don't need to be going to get no counselors, and that's the spirit. They need to pray with each other. I don't need to be jumping off talking about, let me call the pastor, let me call these other motherfuckers. You could do that shit if y'all motherfuckers fighting and shit, but other than that, if you motherfuckers both is really stable and having a relationship with God, it ain't gonna be no need for all that. And then if y'all ain't supposed to be together, then y'all gonna ask God and pray on that too. All this, somebody is y'all found out that y'all ain't compatible and now y'all gotta break up, then y'all could do that. But now if y'all don't, if you stuck on that other shit over there trying to get advice from the pastor and all them other motherfuckers talking about, no, y'all don't need to break up. Why? Because the book said y'all supposed to be together till death do you part. So it'd be better to just kill each other than to disrespect this book. So at that point, I would like say, then that's what y'all go do. But my advice is, like I say, y'all pray together and put the middleman, get the middleman out the way, out your mix, and it'll be much safer that way. Because listening to that book and all that suicide script that they be telling you and all this TV shit, sets and shit, and your pastor and all these other motherfuckers and the government giving you, and the police giving you advice, nigga, either if you don't need them, then y'all could work that out yourself. But now if you go dealing with somebody and you ain't did no research on them, I ain't talking about just looking them up on the internet and seeing how many crimes they got on them on their fucking rap sheet. Cause some of them crimes, it ain't about, that ain't what make the person. It's about what it's about, because some of them crimes they could have fabricated. You know what I mean? But now if you see some shit on there that look crazy, then you know that the person might have some tendencies like that. But everybody ain't guilty of everything on them damn pieces of paper. Because them motherfuckers just be making shit up. Because that's what their job is to do. To put some more shit on there to make your ass look crazy and incriminate you.
Helpful feeling that love is all about being loved starts in childhood. To the child, it feels as if the parent is simply spontaneously on hand to comfort, entertain, feed, clear up, and remain almost always warm and cheerful. Parents don't reveal to their kids how often they've bitten their tongue, fought back the tears, and been too tired to take off their clothes after a day of childcare. The relationship is almost entirely non-reciprocal. Parent and child may both love, but each party is on a very different end of the axis, unbeknownst to the child. That's why in adulthood, when we first say we long for love, what we predominantly mean is that we want to be loved as we were once loved by a parent. We want a recreation in adulthood of what it felt like to be ministered to and indulged. We want someone who will understand our needs, bring us what we want, be immensely patient and sympathetic to us, act selflessly, and make it all better. This is, naturally, a disaster. For a relationship to work, we need to move firmly out of the child mode and into the parental one. The romantic person instinctively sees relationships in terms of emotions, but what a couple actually get up to together over a lifetime has much more in common with the workings of a small business. The two people must clean, chauffeur, cook, fix, throw away, hire and budget. None of these activities has any glamour whatsoever within the current arrangement of society. Those obliged to do them are therefore highly likely to feel that something has gone wrong with their lives for having to involve themselves so closely with them. And yet these tasks are
now you know your grandparents had a hard-ass job, huh?
And sustaining of love.
God damn.
Any successful
That's what they say your grandparents had. And now you know your grandparents had a hard-ass job, huh? I mean, like your great-grandparents. But no, but when you look at it, no, you the one got the hard-ass job because the system wasn't all in a mix like it's in the people mix now. The system wasn't pressuring people to take each other out. The system wasn't making everybody greedy and turning everybody into a damn slave and shit if you have a kid with somebody. The system wasn't doing all that, all this making people desperate and rob each other and kill each other and all that shit. The system made all them laws, and everybody keep blaming each other for what the system did. I'm telling you, I don't give a damn if you don't know, if you never read a history book in your life, that back in the day, the parents did not have all these, like, where the system just come in. If you have a baby with somebody, the system come in there and say, oh, you know what, you owe this person this much money, they owe you this much money, and you owe us this much money. System didn't have all them taxes and slaving people like they doing now. Now this shit they doing now, hell, no, it wasn't like that. So how can you say that the parents, your grandparents and them had it worse than you? No, I think you got it worse than your grandparents, because the way the system is, your kids don't belong to you, your fucking husband and your wife don't belong to each other. Nobody belonged to each other. The system owned everybody, just like if they was living in Russia some motherfucking where back in Stalinism, in the communist days when Stalin was running shit. America is going back to communism. And if you look at all of the motherfucking immigrants, what is they? Communists. So I want to hear that shit. Don't nobody belong to nobody. The government own everybody. You don't believe me, nigga? You better look, next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, what's different about me? That's right, motherfucker, you wearing a mask. And who told you to wear that mask and made it a law to wear that mask? The government. So, hey man, you can keep on, like, trying to, lie to yourself and shit, because you can't lie to me, man. You can't lie to the mirror, you can't lie to nobody, motherfucker. Well, if the government ain't telling you to do shit, take that mask off. And then stop getting that shot and all the rest of this shit. Or other than that, man, you need to just go on and just just go on and just admit that you don't have no purpose, man. The only purpose you got is just doing whatever them people tell you to do.
New couples should take a mutual vow. I accept the dignity.
Believe whatever they tell you to believe. You never had a purpose. You never was born. And then you want to sit up here and try to act like you fucking ain't nothing wrong with you, like you normal and shit. How the fuck is you normal when you don't know what normal is?
Change you, but they should and must want to change you because you're deeply imperfect.
Nigga, you got in prison for 18 years in a public school or a private school, and they taught you a fake history book and a whole bunch of bullshit ass something that you ain't never gonna use, and never taught you about a job training, none of that shit, and then try to get your ass an arrest record and shipped your ass off to the penitentiary. How the fuck was you ever been born, man? How the fuck do you know what you talking about? The fuck you talking about you normal? Nigga, it ain't normal to fucking go to get an education on how to go to prison.
And in need of severe remolding in all sorts of areas.
I mean, to send yourself to prison?
It may look like hostility.
That ain't normal.
Respond defensively. But you're ready to settle down
Nigga, all he learned was how to send himself to prison. That
You
ain't
should,
normal.
at key points, see them as the teacher and you as the pupil, and vice versa, with neither side losing their tempers. Relationships are meant to be an education towards becoming two better people, not a process of acceptance for everything one already is. With these dark and sober criteria in mind, we can go back into the world of relationships, assured of a brighter, longer, and more realistic future.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Another day, another dollar in your pocket. The soul game player, Karma's Kitchen.
There's a lot to manage in life right now. Chase Secure Banking is right there with you to help. With the convenience.
Here we go again, bartender. Another innocent bystander. Lady, 43 years old, talking about she don't know why she lonely. I tell you why, because she still shit, because she don't know how to sell no sex. That's why. No, at that point, she don't know how to buy no sex. Shit. Fuck you talking about? Prostitution ain't one way. She could buy some sex too. Fuck y'all talking about? She the only one, we the only one buy some sex. She better buy some. Fuck she talking about? Better stop discriminating. All these fucking gays out here telling you to buy some sex. I know y'all motherfuckers ain't talking about, oh, we're gay and the sex is free. Better get the fuck out of here. Y'all motherfuckers just like them other motherfuckers. Y'all out to get what you can get. So I want to hear that shit about the gay sex is free. Any sex is free. So, lady, even old sex ain't free either. So just because you old don't mean you get a discount. Better learn how to buy some. What you talking about? I'm 43 and I don't know why I'm lonely. Because, bitch, you don't know how to buy no sex. Bitch, prostitution, legalize it. It ain't just men, it's women too. Get your act together.
All right, next one.
Tabitha?
I'm 43. I'm so confused. Why am I
Grown
43?
girl, big girl now.
Alone. All right. So as if you've watched on Locals, you'll see this all in one video. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you've seen it progress in the videos that I've published, recently. Because I'm chopping these up and putting them up on YouTube. We start out with the dating profiles where women are asking for everything.